the fuck is this? But she didn't like run and meet. Normally, the second she sees me, she bolts to the other room.
Yeah.
She kind of like stood on the couch for a little bit. I was like, what is this? What is, and did I tell you she's been, like, I'll be randomly, and it might be because I like, when I watch TV late at night when Steph's asleep, I sit basically where Sophie sits.
Yeah.
And she'll, like, walk over, and for, like, about 5 minutes, she'll just kind of stare at me.
Yeah.
And then she'll just kind of go on to her other thing.
She just observes you.
She observes me. She's like fucking Batman. Just watching over the city.
All right. Hell yeah. I think we're good. Everything's rolling, looks like. You know? Hey, this might be another new era in the trying more with production era.
I don't know, dude. No More Heroes is low-key prolific as hell.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Brother, every fucking 2 months, we hit a new era, and we find out we're the fucking best at it.
This is actually this. I want to like.
Actually, the first stage of the research era was a bit rocky. You almost went schizophrenic.
Yeah, but that's just hey, you live and you learn and you get lost.
Sanding down the edges.
Yeah, man. I just
want to figure we needed to put a layer of primer on it.
I need maybe not all the answers, or maybe I just needed the answers to flush out, or like to get the most reasonable.
You start realizing sometimes the Matrix is pretty comfy. Maybe I want to eat the steak.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes, like I started getting. I think since you've just been speaking around my computer more, like by me doing panties and stuff like that, I feel like there's it kind of turns into. I started getting those. It was Instagram. I started getting those. This is my normal day or something like that, where like the guy goes swimming, goes to work.
Oh, because I was telling you,
I'm
a big fan of, I don't know why exactly, I'm a big fan of my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5 TikToks.
That's what it is, yeah. I couldn't remember the like saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the people like this is my day today, and this is what I like to do, and blah blah blah. Some people don't like it, and it's just like, well, dude, fuck off. It actually kind of rules. Like,
yeah,
it does make a little bit of sense. But
yeah, I just hate I hate the people that are like normalize the normal, who are the people that I go, yeah, but you never tried anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, you've only done normal. It's like, I'm in desperate need of 10 layers of attention at all. Maybe. I can do it sometimes.
Are we in Drag the Lake?
Nah. I kind of want to do No More Heroes.
Okay.
Oh, I fucked up.
Yeah. That's all right.
Stanley, edit that out.
Hey, Stanley, edit that out.
Thank you, Stanley. You'll get 2 butt slaps this time if you don't.
Slap your little butt.
Well, no, it's
You're
like
lucky you haven't got a butt slap yet.
We're all psychotic people that are like sociopaths and egotistical and crave attention and do all this other shit. And it's like so that's why we do all this shit. It's the people on Instagram. And on a sidebar on my sidebar, if you're making a bag, do your fucking thing. Play the game. Everything's wrestling, dude.
Yeah.
But it's the people when they go like normalize the normal. It's like, yeah, you've never tried anything else.
Yeah.
Your only version of this is quote unquote normal. And I'm not hating on normal shit, but it's like you can't shit on the other shit if you haven't even like fucking dipped your toe in it.
Yeah, my normal now is like I leave the house and I'm like, oof, that's enough. You know, you know what I mean? Like I used to, when I was in PA. And I was living probably more of a, like, because I did have a 9 to 5 job, at least 4 days a week. And it was, even though not the most traditional job, it was still a thing where, like, it was a routine. And
regimented, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, but also, like, I'm waking up at, like, 6 o'clock in the morning I was living that life. I was going to the gym.
Yeah.
Then I was going to work. Then I was going home.
Oh, yeah, that's why your pod was called 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You'd be fucking doing jujitsu at 6 fucking a.m.
Yeah, and like, it's so weird how months away from that, like, I'm like, what the like, if I wake up before 9 a.m., I'm like, wow, like,
bro,
cool. I'm being productive as fuck right now.
When you're in the mix,
I don't
dude,
have enough to do.
When you're in the mix, dude, you don't know what's insane.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing, or not even insane, but like when I worked for Uline, I was like, this is, this job's tough, but it's part of the, this just is my thing right now. Yeah. I I was living in the middle of fucking Hellertown, PA, where my half of the rent was like $300.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, that's the other thing.
And
It's
like
the
18
nut smaller, yeah.
$18 an hour made me fucking rich almost and shit like that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, when I left, and here's the thing, like, I moved to Jersey for not that much more money, and my rent went way up. And honestly, it was more stressful, but I was happier at my job because Uline was basically like, if you ever see those people bitching about fucking Amazon, turn that up to 11. That's working at fucking Uline.
Yeah.
And I was just getting
Yeah.
my fucking cheeks clapped every day, exhausted, and then driving an hour to go do stand-up. I was so tired.
Yeah.
And then I would wake up at like 7 a.m. to fucking stream for 3 hours before work.
And that's what I'm talking about. Is I don't understand now how if like I do a couple podcasts and then I drive into this 20 minutes into the city to do one set. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why am I tired for that set too?
Dude, I was
like, I don't understand. Like, it's a weird thing, And you know what? Maybe it's because I'm vaccinated. I don't know. I mean, it could be. Could be. It's so funny. You know that girl that died?
a couple girls that died.
The young lady.
The actress.
Not Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. She just died.
Harriet the Spy.
Yeah. Michelle Trachtenberg.
Trachtenberg, yeah. One of the first things I saw on Twitter was, vaccinated. It's like, I mean, people can't just fucking like.
I saw one or two people in like, because you know me, I get way more conspiracy shit and stuff. I saw like one or two people saying that, and I go, dude, that's not. We're done with that.
Yeah,
that's
come on,
over.
guys.
Like the people.
You can't just say everybody that dies now that has ever gotten a vaccine is like.
Well, it like made
I'm not saying anything. I'm just
it
saying.
made sense within a year within the year's time frame after they forced us all to get it. Now and then, that was the same thing with Gene Hackman dying,
bro.
Where they were
craziest, dude. He survived to 95 years old with very little controversy, right? Like I always thought, like,
I don't think he had any controversy.
He didn't get canceled. He didn't get any kind of like.
He
things or
stopped
anything.
doing movies in 2004.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like he just kind of slipped off.
And that was the thing. But why he stopped doing movies? Everyone goes like, Gene Hackman does. What's that about? And then you take 5 seconds to read his Wikipedia and go, why did he stop doing movies in 2004? He had some like heart condition or something that like literally any level of stress would like be life threatening to him.
Yeah.
So he stopped doing movies in 2004.
Turned his wife into a mummy and threw his dog in the closet.
Also, it's that fucking like classic Larry the Cable Guy joke where he was like, she was 104. How'd she died? She was 104. That's how. And you're like, Gene Hackman, how did he die? It's like, I don't know. He had a heart condition and he was 95.
It's the craziest thing that
A
like,
white 95 too.
a white 95.
That's a different number.
A white rich 95.
Yes.
Like rich since like the 70s.
Yeah.
I think, right? Like
I will say a lot of people did go downhill after Epstein got killed. So maybe he was locked in and he got cut off from his supply of baby blood and he just hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the funniest part of Epstein dying. Like a month later, fucking Bill was on TV and he just like, you go, where's any of the pigment in your skin?
Yeah.
He completely changed.
He took away my good juice. But there's a weird thing where like he had the most like pretty graceful exit. Like, hey, I'm too sick for it. Almost as much as like Michael J. Fox, who by the way still banging around and would do a guest starring thing every once in a while, but he'd be like,
yeah, he'd pop in on like the Tonight Show or 30 Rock.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, what's going on? I'm totally not, but like would make jokes about it, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. That's like.
Did you ever hear Dennis Leary talking about working with him on set? Mm-hmm. He'd be like, yeah, we just like joke around. He'd come up, I'd be like, what's up, Shaky? You're shaking, and you're like, yeah, Dennis Leary, you sound like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, was it funnier? Was it funnier than that in real life? Or?
He was like, yeah, and then he'd give it back to me. And
what's up?
Like, dude, mix that with
just... Guy's a fucking vibrator over here. Like, I'm just trying to eat my lunch.
It just sounds like Dennis Leary
He's
just
a bully.
being mean. He's like, what's the joke,
Slapping
dude?
a tray out of his
hand.
hand.
What's up, Shaky? Your fucking body moves weird.
But then what did he say back? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're just.
But we all had fun with it.
but there's it's like a weird thing where like he had such a graceful exit and like so many like like I don't know why, but like again, people you always see. I remember the what's it called? the like cliche thing back in the day was like celebrities, they're just like us, you know, like on the tabloid or on the magazines near the register and shit. But it's like they die horrifically as well. Like what's his face? Hawkeye from the Marvel movies got like run over by like a snowplow or some shit.
Yeah, the dude from Star Trek
Like-
got crushed on his
On his gate, on his
No,
like,
he had one of those giant, you know, those big mailboxes with all the
Right,
brick
yeah,
around
yeah.
it. He was like
Pinned or
getting the
something.
mail or something, and his car crushed him.
like this shit can happen too, but like.
That sucked ass. He was about to blow up.
But he didn't have any kind of weird like thing like that. He didn't die from a heart attack, and it was like tabloid thing of like, oh, shocking death of blah blah blah.
Yeah.
He just got to like kind of just slip off, and then they're like, his wife's a mummy, and they've been in here. Like they said, the person
Wait,
that
what did they say about his
there
wife?
was a 911 call that I saw. That was I didn't hear it in the call, but apparently the person that came, like it was somebody, a home health aide or something. That
Who
was
the fuck was it? Scooby and Shaggy?
what? Oh no.
They're like the case of the mummy
No,
and
dude,
Gene
they
Hackman.
had been dead so long that the wife was like mummified.
Oh, that's right. They
So-
were dead for a good amount of time before anyone found him.
So like this was, I don't know if it was just like I don't think it was just a welfare check. I think it was
they were actually
a nurse or somebody.
They were going to get a fryer from Bob Breyer. It's a Drag the Lake joke. No one else will get that. Are you wearing? guys, like and subscribe for the love of Christ.
We did not plan that.
Like and subscribe.
But yeah.
That was so good, dude.
But
Like and subscribe.
but just to have
Anyway, Waterworld.
just to die so crazy is like I think it's like there's going to now whatever he avoided for the past 10 or 11 years.
There's
they're gonna be like, whoa.
There's going to be a group
Yeah.
of people now, and nothing will ever convince them otherwise that Gene Hackman wasn't on Epstein's Island. Just because there was, because there were a couple articles that say, that, like, because the first round of articles on Gene Hackman were like, Gene Hackman and wife and dog all found dead. Cops don't think there's any
No
foul play.
Like,
and you're
what?
like, dude, you can't throw that out the same day. So, and you know for a fact there is an amount of people that read that, and for the rest of time they'll be like, wow, Gene Hackman was on Epstein's Island. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just totally lost control. He could have. He should. The least crazy story right now is going to be murder suicide, like murder suicide or whatever. Like, and the dog being the perpetrator.
That's like who the fuck? I was listening to Dan Soder talk about this, but I forget her name. She's the comedian with the really. She's very funny. She has the high pitched voice. She used to do a bunch of stuff with
Maria
Soder.
Bamford.
No, younger. She did like a correspondence dinner thing a while ago. I don't know why I'm blanking on her name. She's very funny. She had a really funny sketch. She had like a late night show, and she had a really funny sketch, like girl boss sketch, where it was just over the top. But no, I saw some other podcaster was like, they were like, you know, she was on Epstein's flight logs too. And I heard Soder bitching about it on a pod. He was just like, why do you have her number in your phone? You're like, text her. It's just weird to throw. People will throw that stuff out. Like, I love conspiracies and everything. You all know this, but like, I like the lack of like the flagrancy of some conspiracy bros on fucking Twitter is insane.
Yeah.
How quickly they go to shit.
And that's the thing that's crazy about like Gene Hackman, when like it wasn't shocking that he was like, because you know he's 95 years old.
Yeah, when you find out he's 95,
yeah, it's
you're
not
like,
crazy.
Oh.
But then you're like, but wait a minute, here's how he was found, and you're like, all right, now I gotta fucking investigate it.
I will say my theory.
Oh, we should do Celebrity Death Month one.
That would be a fun one.
We should write that
because I would want to do.
Nobody pounded off.
I really wanted to do an episode about Marilyn Monroe because her death is super interesting. She's very dead. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, oh, she's dead.
No, and I'm just basing this off of being an amateur detective, but my guess is Gene Hackman, from having a heart condition and being 95, died like in his chair because he was in his mudroom when he died. So he died in a mud room. There was probably too much mud. He got too exhausted from all the mud.
Died mudding.
Yeah, he died fully mudded
Like
up.
a real cowboy.
And then his wife saw that and was just like, I mean,
said,
if Gene's,
"Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh, no, Gina Hackman is dead."
Oh, Gina Hackman is
No, she
dead.
didn't. I don't think she sounded like that, actually.
What?
No, I was doing an
No,
impression.
I was
I was doing an
repeating-
impression of the dog.
I was repeating what my friend Ching Chong told me.
Oh, I don't know if that's her name.
I mean, that's not,
name?
no, it's my friend.
Oh.
My friend. But she was like, oh no, Gina Hackman is dead.
Yeah, but then it became mummified.
I think I think she took a bunch of pills. And because there was pills open
Mummy
in the
pills?
bathroom. Yeah, she took mummy pills. No, she took the pills, but then grabbed the toilet paper and wrapped it.
I made a big mistake. Just started wrapping herself.
Oh no, I thought I'd take an aspirin. I took mummy pills. Oh no, I take mummy pills.
But so she OD'd and then just left the dog to die, or
No,
killed
I
the dog?
think she took the pills, OD'd, fell over, pills are on the ground, dog walks up. You know, some dogs are picky, other dogs will eat anything in front of them.
He's like, if I eat her, I'm
think
just gonna be hungry an hour
I think the
again.
dog ate some pills and just fucking died.
Oh.
Because they had 3 dogs. There were 2 dogs just running around outside. There were 2 dogs just being like, dude, we're having the best day. And then there was a 3rd dog that had a worse day than the other 2.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Hackman got too muddy. His wife saw it, killed herself. But I also have no evidence to say. That's my only no foul play theory.
Maybe
the other theory is Hackman is who actually ran the Epstein ring. That's the only other option, in my opinion.
Maybe there's like a that'll be the end of Celebrity Death Month. Is Gene Hackman, because by that time
there will be more
we got to get
info.
through. At this point, we're in movie month.
Bro. At the beginning of the M month, March is movie month.
March is movie month.
Movie month.
These are we're gonna be investigating. Well, let's be honest. I'm gonna be investigating, and Andy will be watching.
Dude,
You got notes?
well, you know
Get the
how
fuck outta
the
here.
research era. Yeah.
This is another upgrade.
Well, here's the thing. The research era really brought you into your own.
It did.
And I'm starting to realize the movie era may potentially bring me into my own. Because what I am top tier at is being a hater. And
It's in my profile. on
being a
Facebook.
hater and overanalyzing shit.
Yeah, I hate.
And that was the best. But yeah, and watching Waterworld, it really unlocked that. And I got so excited. I was taking so many notes. I
Yeah.
got real amped to shit on Waterworld
Because
today.
you were saying something I remember a while back. The reason we came on, we came to movie month as being our next theme month was because
we were talking Irishman.
I was thinking. Well, you said that you were like, I want to start talking about movies.
I
some more.
love. That's why it was so funny when you were getting annoyed with me when we were talking about Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
I was having the best time. I love not like having a real debate,
Yeah.
but just like going back and forth. Like, dude, I joked. I used to be annoyed by it. Where when I would go visit my family, I'd try to have a real conversation with them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm doing good. Have you seen the new blah blah blah?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "We never get that." And then I'm like, but why am I mad about that? That's my favorite shit. Those are the 2 things that define me. I hate having real conversations with people, and I like talk or like about. Like, it's weird. If I'm on a podcast, I'll tell you about every emotion I've ever had.
Yeah.
But, like, real heart-to-hearts sometimes, if I'm sober, are very uncomfortable to me. But what I do like to do is overanalyze cinema.
I love doing it as well, and especially when it's movies that I have a personal connection with.
Yeah.
I've always talked about if the world was our number one as men. If you watched Animal Attacks Month, and you should,
Attack Month.
it was probably that was for sure will always be in my heart. Probably my favorite month. Anytime we can go back to Animal Attack Month is going to be Pat's favorite. But I liked Movie Month too because I wanted to think of how can we correlate it into disasters. And so we picked only. I was thinking about
No, the
calling it.
pet lacks more than a through line.
I love destruction.
Yeah.
Because there's a weird thing. I actually first saw this movie, I think maybe in its first run or near the end of its first run at the drive-in movie theater as part of a double feature.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was the second half of a double feature. The first being Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks,
No
which we have
shit.
also covered in our conspiracy.
And that would
First era.
We talked about that during Spooky Space Month.
Yes, like it's Space Month. Yeah, you're right. Because we did do aliens for a while, and then it turned into more government shit and just being like, oh, aliens are government, and you're like, God damn it.
And then that turned into, oh my God, this is too real month.
That's right. Pat needs a hiatus
were
month.
you ever a big fan of the drive-in? Because for me, I'd always be conked out by the middle of the second movie.
I think I may have dozed a bit on this just because I was a youngin'. I was single digits for sure. But I was. I remember there was my favorite part of drive-in movie theaters was apparently also just as not allowed as a regular movie theater, but the fact that you could just bring in all the food you want.
That's not allowed at a drive-in?
Apparently, it's never been allowed. I found out, Dom and I went recently before we left PA. We went to, there's a drive-in movie theater there, and we were like, yeah, this will be cool. Like, I was like, I haven't been since I was like a kid. This is so cool.
Did they like check you at the fucking border? Like,
No,
like Gestapo?
No, but they did have these old fuckers walking around and driving around in golf carts during the movie to just kind of, and like every time they did, we just kind of like, I mean, they're not like going in with flashlights or anything like that, but they were.
That's insane.
Dude, it's crazy.
That actually makes me mad.
I know.
It's like, dude, we're outside.
But we didn't do anything. Like,
we're in a car.
But there was, I think back in the day, it was either more accepted or maybe that rule has changed in our lifetime. But
I wonder if it was just that place. I don't know.
It might have been.
You know, I haven't done a lot of drive-ins as an adult because, like I said, like I always waste money at them. Well, they're really not that expensive, actually, now that I remember.
No, and I think that's the thing is like because you pay for I think it was, we still got 2 tickets, which was lame, I think, because it was like, it was supposed to be, the reason we would go to the movie theater or the drive-in movie theater as youngins was because we were horrifically poor.
Yeah.
So we would, you could just pay for a car full of people, or in our case, an Astro van.
The reason we went is because we did upper middle class poor people cosplaying.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
we were
camping.
literally loading a truck to the brim with throwing children in the bed of a truck with holding coolers like as your seatbelt, and they're just like, hold on, and then we would drive in, or even. In that case, sometimes cover them with a blanket like we're fucking illegal aliens.
Bro, your fucking driving experiences really feel like just fucking you. Dude, your dad was a coyote.
Yeah.
Your dad was a coyote sneaking people over the border.
Yeah, we went in there with like hot dogs and tinfoil. We had like fucking a Tupperware bowl with a lid made of homemade popcorn.
Dude, you like go into the drive-in and there's just some old man with a like really long flashlight just tapping the side of your car. Got anything in here?
Yeah.
There any people in here?
All right, I'm gonna need you to pull off to the side. I mean, but everything's fine. I mean, I told you I'm hauling some hay.
Dude, they're just like ripping up your seats. You're like, you got 2 toddlers down here.
you got
That's
2
gonna be $5 a piece.
$5 more, please.
You know,
Do I smell Chips Ahoy?
I think my dad's always been a huge movie guy.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's just like, brother, drive into movies. So we would go a lot when I was a kid.
Sneaking cookies into any movie, by the way, low key, golden ticket, my friend.
Bro, you kind of
How many times do you get cookies? Because they don't have cookies at the stand.
You kind of have to at this fucking point, because like, I mean, I will say it, like the movie popcorn and just having a bucket of soda. It hits different.
Or a 6-pack of Diet Pepsi in a cooler. At a drive-in. Oh yeah, we're back to the drive-in now. Yeah,
bro,
sure. Yeah,
I'm
there too.
sneaking in my whole grocery list.
Yeah.
I'm saying at the movie theater, like there's something about just having that bucket of soda and the bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'll pay whatever it is. I'll pay it. It's when you get like, I'm a big Skittles guy. They give you the box of Skittles and you open it up and it's like it's this fucking. Like air sealed bag that's a third of the size of the box. You're like, what are we doing, man?
Not fair. It's not fair.
It's fucked up.
And I think shout out to Family Dollar, Walgreens, anywhere that would have.
That's the move.
Yeah, you go there, you get some store brand candy. That's, chocolate covered raisins.
Yeah, and you get a big coat, and then you walk in, and the teenager.
Oh, not in Florida. No, it would have to be fanny pack or.
You probably fucked up some cargo pants in there.
Yeah.
Cargo shorts.
Honestly, that's the thing. Is like I was very practical from even a young age. Like, yeah, if I'm gonna sneak this 2-liter in, I gotta wear something.
2 liter? That rules. But then the funny part too is
God,
like
I'm
I feel
fucking
like
trashed.
I feel like if you
It's so funny that you're like, what? And I'm just like, oh, I thought we all did that. Did you ever do it at baseball games too?
sneak a 2-liter in.
Not 2-liter, but like hot dogs and stuff. You bring your own hot dogs to a game?
No, not the baseball game. Well, also
Major league too, not even minor league.
No, we would. Here's the funny part about my family is like we were always like I told you, but we were never rich, but we were always like money wise,
well
we're
off.
always fine.
Yeah.
No one was worried, but we weren't like rich. But my dad was still like. We would never go. We've gone to like Phillies games before.
Yeah.
But never like my dad
never together.
My dad would rarely ever pay for it. My cousin worked for RCN and got free Phillies tickets all the time, so she would hook us up. But my dad would never buy tickets, and then we'd go. But more often than not, we'd go to like the Reading Phillies games.
Yeah.
And there, it's like back in the day. Now, bro, I went to the Iron Pig Stadium to do a thing. My brother's job had a whole fucking thing there, and they were like, "Bring your family." So I go, and I'm like buying beers, and it's like fucking MLB park prices. I go, this country's gone to shit.
I found out what it was recently, and this is definitely where I got it. But my mom was talking to my wife recently, and she was saying something about, regular small talk fashion. We're talking about what are the price of eggs right now, and that's a hot topic issue.
Literally this week, it went crazy.
It's gone crazy, right? But like we were saying, she said something about like, oh yeah, ours are whatever, we get this, and she's like. And Dom goes, oh yeah, I haven't been really paying attention to the price of the egg. And my mom goes, well, lucky you. And I was just like, what does that mean? I was like, eggs are expensive now. It's not like she's like, oh, you must get she goes, you get the expensive kind. And I was like, what are the expensive? We don't get organic.
Eggs are expensive.
Eggs are expensive.
Dude, like I started going to
There's no bougie brand of egg. It all comes from chicken ass.
I started going to Aldi, which has been saving us a bunch of money. Which I've been on this. I've been on the warpath. I've been to a lot of people think Aldi shit is shittier. No, it's the way they construct their business. They get the stuff to the store for cheaper, and it's all the same shit. It's just way cheaper. And dude, even at Aldi's, the eggs are like expensive.
Yeah.
But no, this is the big problem. This is why I think this is a huge contributor to why everyone seems to be political. Is because when I was a kid, the deal was, we all kind of know the government's evil. But like when I go to McDonald's and I get the value meal that I know is bad for me, it's $5.
Yeah.
But now the thing is that there was always the different fun slop or the activity that was distracting bullshit.
Yeah.
And it was always reasonably priced. Now the bullshit that's bad for me is also expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you gotta get the bullshit back to a cheaper price.
Yeah.
And people will shut the fuck up and you can go back to having sex with all those kids.
We won't investigate anymore.
We'll shut the fuck up.
That'll never be part.
Just bring back the dollar menu.
Make eggs
and we'll
cheap
shut
again.
the fuck up.
We need a new hat, Trump. Make eggs cheap again, bruh.
Yeah, dude, get a new slogan. Anyway, but
but if we're talking about thrifty people, it was, let's just say, not the creators of WaterWorld.
That's how we get back.
That's how we get back into it.
Bro,
this motherfucker it dealt with massive overspending, creative meddling, and production troubles.
Dude, the set in the beginning when Kevin Costner's like fucking making all that money and going to the water bar.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to nitpick this movie. Fucking the water.
The hydro bar, you mean?
The bar was like, give me another shot.
You mean to say the hydro bar, right? Is that what you meant to say?
I hated that.
When he sold the dirt. The most dirt that they've ever seen in their life.
You know when you live.
What's the value of dirt?
When you live on a raft and water's everywhere. You know how much you need dirt.
Oh God!
Dirt's so important.
It's not only the need, but it's also the importance of like the usefulness of dirt because
it's so important.
It's not going to break down in water. Weight it does.
Yeah.
It's not going. It doesn't get blown away in the wind. Oh shit! It's super windy.
Oh, it's the ocean, and there's no objects getting in your way to tamper down the wind.
Clay would make sense. Like if they're like, hey, this is clay. We can get it wet with the water we have and then dry it, and then we can make homes. And then after it's fired, it will not break down.
Here's the thing.
That's a useful thing, but dirt?
Here's the thing. When you live on a raft type structure, you clearly clearly it's been a Waterworld for a while.
by the way.
And you didn't think it was important to like kind of pre-plan a good structure to live on.
I'm loaded.
And oh, dude, oh my God, Pat, the blowjobs never stop.
You know how much fucking dirt this costs?
You know how much that is at the bar?
You know how much this is in dirt?
You know how much you know how much dirt I had to find to get this glass?
Not only was it a stupid movie, but it was a stupid, expensive movie.
Oh yeah, so that raft held together by popsicle sticks and chewing gum, where they're super worried about growing plants on it.
Yeah.
Well,
no, she had the one plant, the tomato plant, and she goes, "Oh, you're pretty good."
What else do you need?
It's like,
dirt?
what are you talking about?
What else do you need dirt for?
Yeah.
By the way, clearly, like
wait a minute, hold on. Did we just figure it out?
But that's what I'm saying is like,
wouldn't seeds be more valuable then?
Dude,
they didn't even discuss seeds ever.
Dude, getting into growing crops in the water world is just retarded.
Yeah.
Because they clearly, here's my thing too. I didn't take into account, because I haven't seen this movie since I was like a little kid, where I was just like, whoa, water world, that's gotta suck. You're always thirsty.
Yeah.
It's a big explosion. I didn't have a deep thought about it, but like, so they start off the movie by being like, the polar ice caps melt and the whole world is in water. And you're like, what's the timeline on that? Did you just wake up Monday morning and you're like, pretty wet? What the hell is this about? Like, because the way that they're like, outfits and their fucking like water cities are constructed, it really feels like the energy of it feels like they had a week to figure it out.
So not only did they not have a week, they almost doubled their production cost as well as their production days.
Because the whole city
the original production,
destroyed.
the original production length was scheduled for like 96 days, and it ended up finishing at 157 days.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
And that big set you were just talking about that you're referring to, actually, they instead of filming on a set or on a soundstage or something like that, which was a personal recommendation by Steven Spielberg to Kevin Costner, who suggested you should never have a production on the open sea, but they decided to ignore that, went off the coast of Hawaii, and ended up building these sets right during hurricane season. It's right during hurricane season. So that thing that you saw might have been the first or second set of that.
And the irony of it
full
was,
set.
And the funniest part too was they were doing it in the mid 90s, which was the peak of sci-fi movies looking hokey as shit.
Yeah.
Because is this sci-fi or fantasy?
This is sci-fi. It's
sci-fi,
considered sci-fi.
right?
So this was actually. So I'll give you a little bit of backstory.
I feel like fantasy involves a lot of like swords and shields and half English accents.
So the screenwriter was David Rader, not Dennis Rader. David Rader, maybe relation. I don't know. First had the idea for the story back in 1986, and this was actually
watching Mad Max.
This was literally intended to be a water version of Mad Max. It's not joking. Yeah,
he's watching Mad Max, going, "This ain't wet enough."
It was like him going, "I think we should tell this story of basically where Max would be the mariner." Who is Kevin Costner, and blah, blah, blah. But he originally intended it on being a B movie, like a low-budget movie. But everywhere he shopped it around, they're like, this is going to cost way too much money.
Yeah.
So in 1992, Kevin Costner and Kevin Reynolds signed on, which it turned it from a B movie production to a big Hollywood production. And they agree the script would need some rewrites, and they would adjust the production and get started right. They started filming during rewrites.
Can I say
that's where they started? I
remember seeing that on YouTube. They were like, they had the movie funded and they were shooting it and they were literally still writing the movie.
I don't know if he intended it to be a low budget version of Mad Max or just saw Mad Max and was like,
Mad Max
I
was
want to
pretty
do
low budget.
Well, that's when I think he was saying, oh, if they can do it, we can do it, but a water version.
Yeah, but add this insane high risk element. Wait, I want to say this about the because it's so funny where like you think like the budget is super necessary. Now, if you're gonna be like doing practical effects and blowing stuff up and yada yada yada, but like they get so obsessed with this authenticity, and it's like, dude, you don't like in a movie called Waterworld, you actually don't have to be in the water as much as you think. Like, everyone loves Beetlejuice. That movie's called Beetlejuice.
Barely any Beatles
You
or
know
juice.
how much he's in the movie? 13 minutes. And everyone loves the original Beetlejuice. Dude, like, you remember the movie?
Yeah.
Did you see the original one?
Yeah,
Everyone, I didn't see the new one. Everyone was mixed about it. But most people love the original. The guy in the fucking title's in it for 13 minutes. And did you ever see the movie Snowpiercer?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I know everybody says that.
It's fucking Captain America, and basically the whole world is on a train that's just going around in a loop. And, like, they'll occasionally show you outside to be like, look how fucking cold it is. This is why everyone has to be
everything's interior.
This has to be, and it's like, it's a post-apocalyptic movie where the basis is the world is covered in ice and snow and all this shit. And you know where it is? Inside a train most of the time. Like, you can do Waterworld, and you don't have to be like every 5 seconds. Like, it's a lot of fucking water.
Yeah, like, cut to a wide, cut to another wide. All right, now cut to a wide.
Yeah, I think a lot of these movies get fucked up because the people making it, or like the director making it, just wants to fucking hang dong. You're like, you gotta fucking pull it back because.
This was believed that because like the Kevin Costner and Kevin Reynolds like combo, the director Kevin Reynolds and the actor
Robin Hood, right?
Well, they did Dances with Wolves in 1990. Then they did fucking what's the one you just said?
Robin Hood,
Prince of Thieves in 1991. This is 1992. So they're like, we're fucking unstoppable, baby. Let's go. And so Kevin Costner is actually so the budget I think is like $90 million to start.
Yeah,
I believe
something like that.
And it was like Kevin Costner's budget. I think his salary alone was like $20 million.
Well, that was another part too. Where
so immediately this is what I think a lot of the people. Now, I will say personally, I think because of all of the things that he did with the practical stunts and the practical effects and everything like that, it doesn't look nearly as shitty as it should.
No,
but
it
looks incredible still, except for when they use like CGI or something.
It looks cool. Then, by the way, I got a fun Kevin Costner thing. Don't let me forget that.
Okay.
It looks cool at times, but there are moments where, like, I wrote it down in my notes. It feels like a fucking like low budget, straight to TV Disney movie. Like, where remember the scene where they're all on their jet skis trying to get the kid, and at the last second, Kevin Costner like bungee jumps down, and he's just like, brrr, and then they all like you just see all three of the guys go like and they run into each other. Like, it looks like a fucking Disney movie and shit, like the bad Disney movies, like fucking that would go straight to TV and shit like that. But then at other times, it does look. Here's my problem with it: is it all looks pretty cool, but like. It looks like a bunch of people playing dress up and ride and having fun on the water. It doesn't look like I'm actually in this place.
There's lots of big swings in the movie, and we're gonna play some of my favorite scenes at the end. And one of the big swings is, I think, one of the drifters that he comes across.
Which was a dude.
How much for the girls?
I found out about him.
Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale.
Watching him was really funny because I was introduced to that actor through Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. So I saw him playing like a really at first really tough,
big douchebag.
But like a douchebag tough biker.
Yeah.
And then he ends up falling in love with. Did you see Fallout? The dude in Fallout. I always forget his name. He was in Vice Principals.
Oh, Goggins.
Yeah. He
Walter
was
Goggins.
in Sons of Anarchy.
I didn't know that.
And he played a trans lady with big honking tits.
Really?
Yeah, and then so the guy who was in the boat, I forget the actor's name.
His name was it's Kim. I think it's Kim Oates. I think his name is.
Yeah, he played a dude in Sons of Anarchy who fell in love with Goggins' big fat titties.
Oh wait, hold on. I got it. I got the cast here. I apologize.
No, you're good.
It's Kim Coates. I apologize. Kim Coates was Drifter number 2.
Did you see the
Did
funny?
you also know that Jack Black was in this movie?
Jack Black?
He was the pilot in the scene. He had a longer scene. In
the plane, yeah.
But there's a cut scene that I'll share with you at the end.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there was a deleted scene that's about 1:11, and I think there's more context to his character. But he was the one in the plane that was chasing him down.
You were talking about Costner being like a problem and
Oh, yeah.
making the budget go up.
He was in the middle of a very costly divorce at this time. Also.
So he was probably been like, I need money.
He was cranky as hell.
And he was causing a problem because he had a fancy villa that was like obviously no, they're not like it'd be so funny if they put trailers on the ocean and they're just like, we just live on the ocean. But so obviously people are living on land, and Costner's area where he was living was like really expensive, and then like it took him longer to get to set and shit.
So his god damn, his cost was what?
No. I thought there's a really funny thing about a stunt double.
Oh yeah. So
that shit's so
that was my favorite. Yeah. So his cost was $14 million. So he was already making $14 million on the thing, where everybody else was like on these big barges to go back and forth to set. He had his own personal yacht. I think that's what you're referring to. That's
right.
And he would do that. And I believe the story you're talking about
stunt double
is his stunt double, who was apparently the baddest motherfucker ever. Also had his own private villa in Hawaii, and would take his own personal jet ski to set
40 miles.
40 miles
set on a jet ski.
But this was my favorite part. Wouldn't tell a soul.
Didn't tell anyone about it
except for his wife, who they contacted one day, panicked because he was late to set.
Because he ran out of gas.
Because he forgot to check that he had any gas.
He pulled a DJ Khaled and just ran out of gas. But he didn't have Snapchat to let everyone know where he was.
Right. So they found him a couple hours later. I think I got his name. I can't remember if I got his name or not. But he would say, so the original shooting, Costner's stunt double traveled 40 miles from jet ski. One day he forgot to refuel, ended up stranded part of the way, and nobody knew until that he was traveling that way. So eventually they called his wife, and she explained what was going on, and they found him drifting in open water for hours. Yeah. I didn't get his name or anything like that.
Dude, speaking of drifting in water, did you see the thing about fucking Costner? I forget what scene it was, but they were shooting a scene where he had to be like tied up on a boat.
Yeah,
and it like and like something fucking happened.
But a storm blew in too quickly, and that was the thing. Was so the cameras and everything. A lot of the shots were ruined, and they had to do reshoots because the cameras were all on boats, and
the weather
during
was
high
insane.
winds, it would blow them out of position. It would ruin shots. It would shake the camera. But one of the funniest stories was he was tied to the mast of the boat.
Yeah.
And they could not untie him and get him down soon enough during the storm, and he ended up stuck on there, blown out to sea.
Half hour.
Blown, and they had to go retrieve him off of it. That's the craziest shit.
He was tied to the fucking because that was like thinking about them shooting it out on sea and how dangerous it was. It made me look at a lot of the shots differently. Like there's a part where Costner's trying to fucking leave. They find out, it was the one scene where he's like, hold on a second, and they pull his ear back, and he goes, Gills!
Yeah.
Mutant! Muto!
Okay, so that's the funniest part. So
but wait,
they never went into that.
Here, wait, yeah, real quick before we get into that. So then there's the part, like, he finds the Gills, they fight him, and now he's in the water, and there's this part where they throw a net on him, and they're like pulling the net up, or it was either him or the lady and the kid he was with. But
Helen
you just see,
and Nova.
you see like a net go on top of them, and you just watch, and you're like, oh, that's like real. They're really in the water, and they're not pulling her out that quick. And then when you like know how dangerous it was on set, and I was just like, God damn. And it's like, and that's a reminder too, where it's like, I always joke, I go, a lot, you gotta remember, like, you gotta be careful and remember, everything is people just doing shit.
So this is and that's the thing. That's the through line for sure, especially from Animals Attacks Month to Cursed Movie Month, is the fact that you just assume that people know what's going on. There's a lot of infamous movies.
You just assume a dude's certified in the thing he's doing and knows exactly what to do.
If you have a suggestion, I have a suggestion already for next week, and we may end up having to buy it because I couldn't find it for free anywhere.
That's fine.
But there's a lot of, like, one other movie set.
Most every movie's online for $4.
This is not the suggestion, but another movie set where they had actually a very fatal accident was The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Where there was children on set that ended up.
There's a really good.
They were like, we want to have this practical effect, and they didn't. Somebody just didn't double check, or they didn't. They were never.
Yeah.
They were just like, just run out of the way.
There's a really good documentary.
It's supposed to fall right there.
What's the horror movie app? Shudder.
Yeah.
There's a really good documentary on that on Shudder.
So so another fun fact was the fact that there was no number 2 skis out on set. So anybody that needed to go boom boom would have to get back on the boat and take it back to the shore.
I forgot about that.
To take a shit. So
he had to get a chartered vessel to go poop.
So let's say we're at the hydro bar, and okay. So story wise, again, I think I didn't get a chance to watch this version of it. I couldn't find it necessarily anywhere, but there's a 170-minute version, the original director's cut.
It's like a mini series,
which is apparently supposed to be closer to what the original story was.
That's right.
Because
the original version, I remember seeing that. Dude, they cut out like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was
the theatrical version is like 30, 40 minutes shorter than the director's cut.
It was originally supposed to be a 170-minute thing, but they ended up cutting it down to 130. So.
Here's my thing with the problem with Waterworld, kind of going off of what you were just saying.
So 135, excuse me.
Kind of going off what you were just saying, where my big problem with Waterworld is execution, because I think, like, I remember I realized this watching Avengers Age of Ultron. If you just take Avengers Age of Ultron and you go, just give me plot and exposition.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a 30-minute movie.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot of like really fucking cool fight scenes. Like, I know a lot of the Marvel movies, they're not the top tier of cinema, and you know, they've put out a lot of shit recently, but some of those Avengers movies, they're fun fucking action movies. So it's like, yeah, okay, 30 minutes of exposition and plot and yada yada yada. I still had a great time watching the movie. So you don't need like a crazy over the top plot, especially if we're doing a big blockbuster movie. So I don't think the plot in Waterworld's overly fantastic. It was every step of the execution is like just bland and dumb.
Yeah, I think the thing in general was I noticed that, like, obviously there's most of the world, if not all of it, is considered to be underwater.
Yep.
So, like, all of it is, and all of the humans are adapting by building these communities out in the ocean. We don't know how many there are. We don't know how big this world is, but it's apparently supposed to be just Earth underwater.
Yeah.
We don't know what year. We don't know anything.
Yep.
But Kevin Costner, it's been long enough to where the humans are starting to adapt, to evolve to they have mutations like him. They don't really go into that, and that's something that I don't know if that's in the 170-minute version.
Yeah.
But apparently this was supposed to be...
It would make it much more interesting.
Right. And it would be... and originally, I think it was, because Mad Max is a good movie, a pretty solid story, and originally Kevin Costner's character, the Mariner, was considered to be more of an anti-hero like that. But after...
And then they made it more traditional.
After one of the... when they screened it for the studio, Kevin Costner was like, no, we're going to have to do a bunch of reshoots and rewrites. And they're like... And at that point, Kevin Reynolds was like, fuck you, dude.
Dude, it's the problem with... it's why fucking... There was a lot of problems in WCW.
Yeah.
They gave Hulk Hogan too much... what the fucking word I'm looking for? He had too much control over his character storyline.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sounds like what it was with Kevin Costner. They let Kevin Costner because they
but why wouldn't they?
Need him.
He was proud. He was very much, I'm sure, instrumental in Dances with Wolves. He was very instrumental in Robin Hood. A lot of people are criticizing somebody who, like Kevin Costner, especially once the budget got out and like how long it's been taking and all this other stuff.
Yeah, they really ran with that.
They really went after him being like this Hollywood diva that's just like, it was just his ego that ended up ruining the production. And I think there's a part of that for sure, but like because of even somebody like Steven Spielberg at that time.
Oh wait, I see what you're saying.
Suggesting like. You shouldn't be doing this, but like I can't necessarily fault Kevin Costner for this because he's coming off of two huge successes where he is playing this character. And so he's like, no, I shouldn't be a dickhead and like an anti-hero. I need to be a hero. I need to be like, the little girl should change me and make me a good man.
Yeah.
But the way he treats the lady and the chick for the longest time, you're like the part where he's like, the paper scene where he's just like, you're going to give me 2 pieces of paper? Yeah, go fuck that girl. take her down below.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he's just like, but like that was the original character. He wasn't supposed to go in after that and go like, so I'm assuming that original scene probably was supposed to just be you guys go down there and then come back up. They probably had to reshoot, and that's probably why it's down below, because you're not on the water. That was definitely, in my opinion, I think one of the scenes that was reshot, because I think he goes back down there and he goes, hey, all right, I changed my mind. I don't want this paper. Yeah. And he's just like, but we made a deal. And then he ends up killing, spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. I changed my mind. You can't rape those women.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, but then, like, when they talk too much, he pins them down and forcibly cuts their hair off.
Yeah.
That's like the crazy, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
it's a real mix in between the story where, like, he is at one point agreeing to say, I'm going to sell you this puss for about an hour. Oh, how long you say? Half an hour?
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Something. I honestly, I
was
like
half an hour each.
I'll be honest, like towards the second half of the movie, I was like in and out because I was like, this is retarded and the plot wasn't getting more interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I do forget the little details of the second half of the movie.
It probably would have been considered a crazy, gritty, incredible success if he had just stuck to the original screenplay and been like, I'm going to be this guy who's like, who doesn't give a fuck about these two people. He's only in it for himself, but he changes enough to be like, well, I'm not gonna have them killed or anything like that.
Well, you know what the problem too with like the grittiness of it is, like you can see it's like subtle shit with like the framing of it. Do you remember when they're on? What's the bad guy's name?
That is of the smokers.
Yeah, the smokers.
I think his name is the Deacon.
The Deacon.
Yeah.
Who played
Dennis
him again?
Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. So there was a scene towards the end where it's like Dennis Hopper's character, the little girl, and like two of his henchmen.
Yeah.
And like if you just looked at the still of that scene and you just saw that, the way it's framed, the way that it sort of lacks any like dynamic imagery, it's kind of flat, it's very brightly lit. You would look at that and go, oh, is this from like a silly comedy?
Yeah.
And I think the whole movie, because it's so brightly lit and everything, and not like, even another example is like the newer Mad Max. Those movies are bright, but they're gritty looking. And it's like, if you're trying to sort of create these dynamics and layers to your character, you have to be mindful of like how the movie looks, because subconsciously I'm watching this and you go, if this movie's lit the same way as like a Chevy Chase or a fucking Rodney Dangerfield movie, my brain's gonna subtly think that shit. So when Kevin Costner's character starts acting like a fucking dickhead, I'm gonna hate him more than you want me to hate him.
I think because it's enhanced and shit like that. And that's the thing with like the villains.
He's gonna feel out of place from all the brightness. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, like, when you really think about the original intention being this is water Mad Max, and then you look at the characters and you're like, oh yeah, because the smokers are obviously the fucking weirdo fuel heads, because they're like, oh, but we got an oil tanker. I don't hate that. I don't hate any of how this. I don't hate how this is set up, where they're basically pirates, because that's the thing, is it translates well. I think originally when I first saw it, until I actually hear the comparison, like you would say if you're explaining it, it's kind of like Water Mad Max.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think that was their intention. When you find out that was their intention, they're like, yeah, that's pretty good, because to me,
there's nothing wrong with that.
They come off more like pirates when he has he loses his eye and he has the little thing, and then he has like goggles that are half of you. Like that, to me, that plays. That works. Everything works until it becomes this weird thing where like, I honestly, to me, it was an okay enough movie most of the time until you get to the end, when they, when they eventually find what they find. Yeah, I'm not going to give it away to anybody. Yeah,
it only came out 3 decades ago.
Yeah, 3 decades ago. Yeah. But when they find dry land, and he's just like, I can't deal with it. Like, just stay. out there. Just leave from here and then come back. You were able to get on those like ships, and they go, oh, that's the shit when they're like, that's just land sickness, and you're like, all right, guys, what are we doing? It's falling apart at the end. What's going on? It was such a slow moving.
I forgot about land sickness. That's so fucking stupid.
Where it's just like all these things where you're like, what is this? Well, and it gives me that kind of feel. And I think a lot of those crazy effects, like you said, like because this was crazy.
That's right? Why it all comes down to execution.
The actresses playing Helen and Nola that fell in the water. Sorry, Enola. I apologize. They were almost taken away. They were stuck out in the ocean because there was another storm.
Yeah.
One of the stunt one of the stunt divers almost died from the bends. He came up too fast.
Up and down too fast.
It's implied. I don't know the exact story, but I believe it's implied that it was one of those jet ski guys.
Yeah.
That might have been down too far and then came up too fast.
He like crashed or something and made him go down too far.
No. He had. The bends is basically where you
go down too far and you
come up too quick.
Yeah,
it's like air in your blood and shit like that.
Yeah,
he had to go to the ICU for that. There was also, like we talked about, Costner's stunt double. Also, Costner getting tied to the mast of the boat. The original shooting schedule was supposed to be 90 days, but because of all the accidents and everything, it was expanded over 156 days.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Costner was going through the divorce. Yeah. So that's what it was. So when they screen, they get most of this movie done, or essentially a rough cut of the movie done.
Oh yeah.
They
crazy with the reshoots.
Reynolds screened the rough cut of the movie to the studio, and Costner demanded. Now, this is where I could say he's the diva.
Little diva, yeah.
Demanded rewrites, demanded reshoots. He wanted less of the story building and more character development, more action sequences and explosions.
Well, let me ask this:
he wanted
what stage of his divorce was he in? Because it'd be so funny. Like I'm being half funny, but like legit, if he got washed in the divorce, it'd be so funny if he was like, yeah, we just need to sell this like some big fucking Fast and Furious bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't have said that because it wasn't out yet, but you guys get what I'm saying.
But it was cut from 170 minutes to 135-minute runtime. Towards the end of the production, Joss Whedon, did you know this, was actually brought in to help with some rewrites and concluded that it was a complete mess and it would need to be completely rewritten.
Yeah.
So essentially, he tried to do. This was in an interview with the AV Club. He said that Costner's notes into he was his job was to turn Costner's notes into meaningful material, but his contributions came out poorly in the finished product. Whedon's involvement might not have been as significant as people might assume, but in a He downplayed the involvement in Waterworld, describing himself as nothing more than a glorified stenographer. This is a quote. I was supposed to be there for a week. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. And he was there for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Which he ended up calling 7 weeks in hell. He hated it. He accomplished nothing. I accomplished nothing. I wrote a few puns and a few scenes that I can't even sit through because of how bad they came out.
Dude.
Whedon described the similar experience to working on the script for X-Men film.
Dude, fucking Kevin Smith has the funniest story about rewriting a script. Apparently, they called him in to do a rewrite on Coyote Ugly.
Oh, really?
And yeah, he thought it was real good, real great, and he watched the movie.
Yeah.
He sat through the entire movie, and he could only find one line he wrote. So they paid him, which is a hilarious paycheck.
Perfect, yeah.
It's a hilarious paycheck to get, where it's like, they fucking probably paid him a good amount to rewrite the fucking script, and then to take one line from it.
Dude.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, no. Reynolds would eventually leave the project, completed on the 156th day.
Sorry, real quick.
Was $175 million, making it the most expensive film at the time. And for context, Jurassic Park, which came out in 1993, cost $63 million. Independence Day, 1996, it cost $75 million.
Yeah.
So Waterworld, but if you watch those now and you watch those sequences, some of those sequences with the special effects and stuff like that weren't updated after the fact, because that's another thing that kept people were getting remastered versions and they're adding shit like George Lucas did.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg's adding Raiders and Raptors and shit like that. You're not getting the original cut. But I would venture to say that if it wasn't zhuzhed up in the following years, would end up looking a little bit shittier than how Waterworld came out.
Well, it was funny with the look too, because I was like, you know what? The movie was in '95. Maybe I'm being too critical of it. And then I go, wait a minute, and I Google, I Google when Terminator 2 came out, because I watched Terminator 2 with my wife a couple months ago, and I was so impressed at how good the practical effects still look. That came out in '91. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Terminator 2, the second one.
Terminator 2, yeah. One was in the 80s. 2, I think, was in like 91.
That's pretty good.
So it's like I don't know. I'm just like, I'm trying to give, like, I try not to just, I joked about it before, but I try not to just be a hater for the sake of it and give people benefit of the doubt. And I just go, you don't seem to get it on this one, Waterworld. Can I, a few things on execution.
Yeah.
Is like, there's little shit where you're like, it's not a bad idea. It's just the way you guys did it, it just comes off fucking retarded.
Yeah.
So, getting to, and spoiler alerts, 3-decade spoiler alert, they get to the actual dry land, the green place, whatever the fuck they called it. And it's like, I don't know how you felt about it, but for me watching it, it felt like the way they did it, you're like, it really didn't feel like this was that far away from you guys.
Yeah, right.
And if you got to think too, I don't know how wind currents work or anything like that, but just with the state of the world, if there's this area that there's that much land and there's a shit ton of water and it didn't feel like you guys traveled that far, you guys would have just found it.
And what I'm telling you is, like, I think the funniest thing is, like, it would have been so much funnier if they got on land and people were like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're like, "Yeah, you've been living on the water the whole time?"
Yeah,
that's
you
where
don't have to
everybody's been?
do that.
I've been fucking my daughters and my
and it's like
it's a weird thing because it doesn't make it like if I may, the least believable part of this movie is the fucking blimp.
I got another unbelievable part. Wait, the blimp?
Yeah, okay, so the actor, I think you everybody knows him. He's the actor Michael Jeter. He played Old Gregor. He was the guy at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, where he's like, I can't stop this.
I can't stop it. I'm so sorry.
Which
is hilarious.
Everything on your fucking boat's made out of like steel and wood. There's no fucking computers. What do you mean it won't stop?
That part makes sense. Like, I have no control over this. Like, it fills up. I figured out how to get this thing to where it'll support our weight.
Oh, to fly. He's like, I don't know how to land it.
But I think what it was is because the weight distribution, because they weren't in the basket first when the thing went off.
Yeah.
That was the plan, was like, that's their escape pod to get the fuck off.
Oh, dude. And even in that part, there was like little shit you watch. You're like, it just looks so stupid the way you're doing it. Remember, he's like, I can't stop it. Run, I'll throw you the rope. And then when it gets to the actual...
I love when she goes, throw me the rope now.
When it gets to the actual scene of him throwing the rope, it's like the weakest toss over his shoulder.
He's Old Gregor.
And it just gets... But no. I'm saying it's like, it's this life or death situation. They're like, let us throw the rope so we can be saved and not have to be on this boat anymore because the smokers are attacking.
Yeah.
And it's literally a moment where he's just kind of like... And then it just kind of gets stuck, and they're like, no!
I think that was meant for comedic effect. I think that was meant for him to be a bumbling old fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Know.
He comes in. So Michael Jeter, I wanted to point out as one of the character actors from most of our childhoods, I think. Everybody knows him. He's the guy. He ended up actually passing away from, I think he was HIV positive, actually, later on. But he was also known, and he was the friend with... Mr. Jingles, the mouse in Green Mile.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was the little Cajun guy. Great guy. But his little contraption or whatever, when he does figure it out, like you said, is able to come back down, pick these people up, also pick up other unaccounted for weight, a whole nother adult man, and then pick them up and take them away, right?
Yeah.
So, but all he has on this blimp is literally just like a rudder.
Yeah.
Like it's a boat.
And the thing looks flimsy as shit.
Right. Just make, like, the thing is, if you have all this time to prepare this shit and you're like all these materials you're collecting over the years, it makes sense. They are making their own little escape thing in case the smokers come to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But like, how do you, that you can steer it. You're a genius. Then you're not a genius.
Figured this out. You figured out how to fly it perfectly.
I would hope in the 170-minute version, there's more of old Gregor.
Him going to flight school.
To figuring out, explaining how this is actually going to work. Because, again, there's some people, they're worshiping dirt. They love dirt so much. And dirt, as far as we can tell, has no practical use. No. Except for, like you said, and I think is a great point to bring up, is being able to plant shit. But if you don't have other shit,
so impractical to do that.
Where are the seeds? How are you getting? Are you using? What is your filtration system?
There was a really funny moment. You remember when Kevin Costner's character was like, "Give me that tomato plant." So he gets it, and then when he's running out, he finally gets on his boat.
Yeah.
It's like a moment where the plant's very clearly a prop.
Yeah.
He literally takes it by the vine and just goes, whoom!
Hucks it on his ship. Yeah.
You're like, well, that would have exploded,
yeah,
dude.
You're spilling all of the dirt everywhere.
Can I, so one of my biggest pet peeves with the movie, and I'm very curious if you agree with me or not, the fucking outfits.
Yeah. I don't mind it.
But think
the Mad Max comparison, especially when that's what they're shooting for, makes it a lot more sense. But how do they all look the same?
But no. I get it. If you're trying to do an ode to Mac Max, I get where your head's at. But then, because this is my biggest pet peeve.
Are you talking about the Puerto Rican
guy?
Here, wait.
This is my biggest pet peeve with sci-fi. I love sci-fi so much, but a lot of bad sci-fi, they just focus on making it look cool, and they don't think about any of the practicality. And it's like, my guys, you live on the ocean. So you know what the best outfit is? Big boots and heavy leather.
Well, no, not heavy leather. They don't have heavy leather.
I know. A lot, but Costner at times had some heavy leather. Some of the characters had heavy leather, and then also on that they're big flowy shirts. I'm it would make more sense to have tighter fitting clothing or something like that, or to literally just don't fucking hire so many honkies. Get some people with tanner skin and just let them fucking let it rip. It was the outfits in the movie were driving me fucking crazy. The fact that so many people were wearing shoes and shit like that.
So it
was driving me up a wall.
Sab the Shimano, I think his name is he was Elder number 3. He was the guy who I thought the hats were a little bit ridiculous. That was the only thing that really didn't make any sense, because
it made it look like a cartoon.
Otherwise, if you think about something like what would be another person that was stranded out in the ocean / island desert somewhere out in the sun all day, it was Castaway. I think they all kind of fit the Castaway look a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It was, to me, the headwear that they had. So he had one of those Raiden hats, And then another guy, who is his name? Ricky Alves, Aviles, I think his name is. He's Gatesman one. He was the guy who was hey, and he saw his gills and shit like that. To me, they both had hats on that were straw hats. He had a ball cap on because he was the Puerto Rican guy with the New York accent for some reason.
Yeah.
And then there's the Chinese guy who was trying to get him to fuck his daughter.
Yeah.
And then he finds out he's a mutant. I'm I told Dom, I was he dodged a bullet. If you hate mutants that much that you need to kill them, you almost bred your fucking daughter, you creep. I'll give you all the high girl you want. So, but that was a really awkward scene where I don't know why Costner is all right, well, I'm going to deny having sex with that young Asian girl. And it's oh, okay. So you're going to be the real hero now, huh? And it's all the whole time. So it makes me wonder, was his penis webbed? Because literally
did he have
the whole
a
time,
fish dick?
Every single, I get it. I get that he's trying to be he is the hero.
Yeah.
He literally is a hero. But every single time somebody's throwing pussy at him. And Helen, to be fair, considering how malnourished she is, looks great. The lady that at first he's he just lets her take all her clothes off and he looks at her for 20 minutes and is nah, I can't. And just walks away. I wonder is if he is a mutant, how deformed is he And like how much of a fish is he like? Because everybody's
That's a really funny observation. Yeah.
everybody's fantasy is like, okay, his toes are webbed, and he has gills. What are we talking about midsection wise?
Is it just scales?
Yeah.
Where's dick
Is
should
this
be?
like a mermaid thing where he should have genitals and anus there, but he doesn't? But so like a lot of the times, so just to sum it up here before we get to those scenes, it was it made $260 million worldwide. Apparently nowhere near enough to cover the budget. So we said that it was like $175, I think, or 170 million, 175 million, which is 300 million today wise. I guess.
Wow.
Apparently that was the thing. But this is what I don't. So I think this is a thing, and I don't know if this is for real or not because I'm literally not in the business. But I've heard that whatever you hear like a movie's budget is, it actually costs like about double that.
Really?
Because they spend usually about the same amount on like promotion and distribution. So this movie only made $260 million.
You just think about the actual physical production, then you got to sink a shit ton of money into the actual promotion.
So and apparently, like I said, there has been a 170-minute version released, but I have not watched it yet. I haven't seen it, but I would definitely be up for watching it because I will say this. Though all of its many flaws and possibly mutated genitalia of Kevin Costner that he didn't want to discuss,
The part would rule.
that would be something I would include in the 170-minute version because that person goes like literally one of the best points in this movie, and a lot of it, and I will say, because of the work that they did, because of the bullshit practicality that they've had, like they wanted all this practical effects and everything like that, because of all those things, it fucking holds up. It's still, and if you can fix the story, and if like the 170-minute version fixes it, if you just add another 40 minutes, makes it, because I watched it recently too, just like you, and I got to tell you,
Just like me.
hey, I'm just like you guys.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I didn't hate it.
I'm
not saying I got a bunch out of it and then I loved it.
I
would have liked more Dennis Hopper as well.
Yeah. Okay.
He is the cartoonish villain though.
No, I actually hated Dennis Hopper's character
on.
because they made him silly.
Yeah, he's silly.
But he's like fucking.
I don't like him praising or he had Saint whatever the captain of the ship.
He was either silly or annoying. And like
he wasn't as evil. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. At no point was he scary or evil. I'm not saying you can't be silly, but like any point where they were trying to make him scary and evil, he was just annoying. And like they made Kevin Costner's character a little bit too OP. So it's like at no point was I ever like, will he make it? Won't he make it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't like, especially too knowing like all the shit that like how good of an actor Dennis Hopper is. That was also irritating.
Did you know that the actress that played Enola, the little girl, was the girl from Napoleon Dynamite later on?
No, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really sick.
With the sideways ponytail? That's her.
Yeah. Here, I just had a couple notes I wanted to get to just real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but do you remember when they were on the remember when you were talking about the part where they were going over to show you how much oil was left?
Yeah.
And they were like, let's drive to the pit. Dude,
yeah.
I'm not certain, but I'm almost certain. I think that's literally music from the Blues Brothers.
Oh, when they're driving through the...
Not like the...
When they're throwing cigarettes out?
Yeah, it's not... No, when they're driving in the car, because, you know, you're in the ship, you got to drive a whole car through the ship. I don't think it's like... I don't think it's the Blues Brothers song that was like... It's not... No, it's the... Doon, 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 doon,
oh, yeah.
It was literally that song.
I think that's called like something hustle or something like that, yeah.
It made me laugh so hard. I was like, is that the fucking Blues Brothers?
Yeah, I know what
one thing I noticed too with over CGI getting better over the years.
That's Monster.
It has. Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
We're gonna show you this crazy cool monster for 5 seconds.
Hold on. And if I may, before we get it, like before I let you that point, the CGI or whatever. Okay, I go grain of salt, whatever. But then when he like slaps down that fucking fat on the fire, I'm like, wait, you could have just gotten food the whole time.
Yeah. Oh,
does he not eat?
Well, that was an annoying thing too with like the plot development throughout the movie, where they were like, "What are we gonna do about this?" And then he was just like, "Fine, I'll get food for everyone."
And it took 2 seconds.
And you're like, dude, and it took seconds. Like
Yeah.
you could have done this the whole time.
Yeah, I've been bitching about being hungry this whole time, but yeah, sorry, the CGI.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
And also that fat looked really good.
yeah. Oh, it did look fucking
Like,
good.
so when he put on this
I go,
thing,
whatever prehistoric animal that is, can I have 2 pounds of
God
it?
damn. That's the evolution shit that kind of pissed me off. Whereas like the fish are already like these big, crazy, unrecognizable sea creatures, but then like what happened? I would love a Waterworld prequel.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, with storytelling and CGI, just have it be a little bit more practical. Maybe it might look cool. But sorry.
No, I think so too. I think this is why I harp on execution, is because I think there's a lot of strong potential in a whole world made of water and all that
Yeah.
shit.
Do you want some hydro?
I just think I don't know if I have enough.
You got any dirt?
Let me get some of my dirt out.
You got some dirt?
So funny. So I realized this watching this movie because,
Okay.
like I said, I thought it looked very hokey. CGI, and I was thinking about because I had Dune on the mind today. If you go back and watch the old Dune, which I haven't watched it, but I've seen screenshots and clips from it. It looks silly. Like,
Yeah.
the big thing about Dune was like, oh, no one's ever going to be able to do it right because it's so hard CGI wise to like make it look good. And if you watch the 2 Dune movies,
They look pretty good.
Whether you like the story or
Yeah.
not, it looks amazing.
Same thing as Nosferatu. Story-wise or not, it looks fucking incredible.
sick?
And there was a lot of practical sets built for that.
I might watch that tonight.
It's really good.
Or
I might
actually,
watch it again tonight.
My birthday's Sunday.
Get my wife all worked up with that vampire dick.
What?
Get my wife worked up with some vampire dick.
Ooh, yeah, dude.
She loves vampire dick.
Dude, my yeah. Oh, dude, my wife has the Twilight movies purchased on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Dom has the books, the movies, everything.
Dude, it's so funny. I'm a nice, like, you've seen me. I can be a nasty fucker, but at the same time, I
You're a
can
nice
be
boy.
what?
You're a nice boy
I can be a
every
nice guy to a fault.
Yeah.
Where I'll be a nice guy because I don't want to upset anyone, and then when I'm in my car, I'm punching the steering wheel like, why didn't you stick up for yourself? And I'll be a very nice. My wife loves a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah.
I love you, baby. You'll have bad taste.
Love you too.
Right.
To my wife.
Okay, thank you. That's weird. That's really weird. But I will be nice to her about shit because I never try to yuck anyone's yum.
Right.
If I walk out and she's watching Twilight, I go, this is a bad movie. You like bad things. I will bully her on Twilight.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, so like with Dune, you see shit like Dune, and there's been great sci-fi throughout all the decades. But if you like just visually watch Dune 2, it's fucking nuts.
It really does, yeah.
And it's like CGI has only helped out sci-fi.
Yeah.
But CGI, in my opinion, has only hurt horror.
Yes.
Because to me, a horror movie, it's not fun watching a horror movie if you know everything's just made up.
Action movies too, in my opinion.
What?
Action movies, in my opinion, too, because that
I agree too.
You
Yeah.
take the stunt driver or the stunt man's job completely away, and that's the thing is like you kind of did want to see somebody fall down the thing. Maybe not Kevin Costner, but you want to see somebody.
It's like when
almost dying,
when it's very obvious all of this is fake.
Yeah.
It's less exciting.
Right.
There was always something to the fact like. That's a big reason, not the only reason, but it was a big reason why we all love Jackie Chan so much.
Right.
You know that's him in those fights.
Right. Yeah, he was not a great actor ever.
No.
He was a great action star.
He was always mumbling. Why did he talk like that?
Right. But so do you want to get into some of my favorite
fish
scenes?
scene?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I should have prepared.
I didn't know you had notes. I would have.
Bro, I'm telling you,
wouldn't have taken so many.
the movie era has woken me up.
Hey, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I said one random giant fish for 5 seconds is the only fish in the whole movie.
Yeah.
This part, Dennis Hopper.
Hold on, that's a great point. There's
What?
not even fish B-roll anywhere.
Why, like, because I think they blew their fish budget on that one fish.
No. You know what? I'm trying. I make a lot of excuses for this. Sci-fi is the one genre of movie that I will take the leap on. When I watch like horror movies, I'm just like, it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like you said, but like with this, when it is the fact that they had the attempt at world building, that they were trying to make this a thing, this does have the potential to be more interesting.
Insane potential.
Than what's the other fucking Avatar?
Yeah.
Like to me, this is way more interesting than Avatar because.
Yeah.
Okay, so all humans now are left on the surface of the water, right?
Yeah.
That we do not know of any species aside from Kevin Costner that are able to breathe underwater, let alone live underwater. So there's no like Atlantis shit, right? But like if all of the humans are there, I think that the fish now have evolved to learn that they're all deep water fish. And when deep water fish go under, they grow a lot bigger.
Yo, that's so interesting.
Bro, I'm telling you, this movie is good. They just released the bad version of it.
Yeah, but
it's a good movie.
You got something. You got something there, dude.
Right.
That's very true. Yeah,
and they would be over.
That's why I harp on execution.
Yeah,
it was just executed.
Because what else are they eating?
The lore, the Waterworld lore has huge potential to be amazing.
Yeah, it can be Water Mad Max.
There was the scene where he was talking to where Dennis Hopper was talking to the whole the giant.
He was given the proclamation.
He was given the proclamation.
And they're like, we're fucking sick of your shit.
Dude, he's just throwing out. Well, I thought, so at first I laughed over the cigarette thing, and then I did the math, and I go, in a water world, cigarettes are actually an insanely high status symbol. Yeah. Because anyone, well, that's the thing. Yeah. Anyone knows we've all been there. If you smoke cigs, you put it behind your ear for 5 seconds and you forget you're sweaty, and then you pull it back and you realize you ruined your entire cigarette.
Yeah.
It's like in a world of complete water, having dry cigs is a luxury.
Yeah.
So like when he's like that, I at first I was laughing at it. I was like, why are they all just ripping cigs?
Also, at first you look at the smokers and you think pirates, and you're like, because then you have good and evil is very clear. But the good being the resourceful people that learned how to survive and thrive in a community on the ocean together.
Yeah.
And then another one where they're just like, oh, they just took over an oil tanker.
Yeah.
But no, they also, if you learn, there's parts of the scenes where they're scooping up the shells because they've learned how to make ammunition, which again is incredibly resourceful.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, they're scooping the shells back up. And I think that's the same thing with the cigarettes, is they like probably they are recycling.
Yeah.
So like everybody, it's the best story ever too, because everybody's recycling, whether they're drinking their pee through a Mr. Coffee or they're fucking scooping up shells.
I thought the shells was something stupid, and then they kept doing it, and I go, I'm missing whatever this is.
Yeah, so you find out that even the bad guys aren't just villains that are like taking; they are also resourceful, but they focus their resources on a more evil execution than just survival. Because you look, they don't have people that are going out and coming back like scouts or anything. Like they just have people looking out in case somebody comes to attack them. Hey, Bubba.
And real quick, there was a really funny scene when Kevin Costner was coming to fuck the smokers up, where he hijacked the fucking wave runner and just ran a dude into a pole.
That was so cool.
It was so fucking sick.
So cool. That was so cool. If that was the thing that somebody almost died on, that would have been worth it.
So funny.
That would have been worth the shot.
It was so fucking
They're like, we're still going to use that shot, but we're really sorry. Carl, we're really sorry.
Oh, but that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say before, when they had this, when he was doing the proclamation, it made me nostalgic where because of the way people make money on movies, you either do really cheap movies or you do retardedly expensive movies.
Huge movies.
When you were talking about how like Jurassic Park was like $60 million, I watched a thing recently. If you look, the whole like $60 to $70 to $80 million movie, like that, or honestly like the 30 to like $80 million movie is not as common anymore.
No.
And so like, you don't see, if you notice in modern movies, they do them in a way, like they don't feel as big and grandiose.
Yeah.
Like, and when they do feel big, if you pay attention, there's not a lot of scenes with a shit ton of people in them.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, because it's really only just, because even the scene where he's driving through, there's quite a bit of people. So they most likely got those two shots on the same day.
Yeah.
Everybody on that big barge for most of the time. And I bet you any amount of money, a lot of those guys were crew. Yeah. Because they are looking for any way possible to save money on this production. Yeah. They're just like, hey, Larry, are you not doing sound on this scene? All right, you're going to be out there. You're going to be the guy going, we don't fucking believe you.
But yeah, everyone on that boat was making me nostalgic because I was like, oh, you don't that? I'll compliment this movie on that. That was very cool to have because you're like, oh yeah, they don't have scenes like this anymore in movies. Also too, Dennis Hopper at one point. The big moment where he's mad at Kevin Costner. He just goes, "You're a total fucking retard."
Dude, bro.
Go, yo, no one talks like that in movies anymore.
That was the best. Like when he says that, you must be a total. I am so glad you brought that up. I
So
forgot about that
funny.
scene. That is honorable mention for one of my favorite scenes where you're just like, yeah, I guess it does kind of make sense for him going like, I don't think you're a total fucking retard.
You're a total fucking retard.
And you're like, that was the note I made in my head. I don't think I actually ever wrote it down, but it was, I'm glad to see retard made it through through all these many evolutions of people.
It was so funny. Well, dude, did I tell you the one time I was at...
Also, no pregnant people.
That's
how you gonna like.
That was always my biggest pet peeve of like Walking Dead and shit. Where you're like, how is everyone getting this pregnant this often? You are so careless in the fucking zombie. Okay, my last thing, this is this coincides with this, in my opinion, would have made the movie way better.
Okay,
and it coincides with my opinion I've realized about M. Night Shyamalan is basically after he was done with The Sixth Sense and he was going a little more hokey with everything, bro should have just started making cartoons.
Yeah.
And I realized there's some of these movies because, like I said for 1,000 times, it's about execution. And for this, there were certain things about it that were a little hokey that they clearly weren't trying to make it gritty enough. And if you're gonna go live action and not make it gritty, I would just say default for like a cartoon or like a gritty looking anime or some shit.
I'd watch a WaterWorld anime.
Because there was a lot of things in WaterWorld that you could really nitpick where you're like, okay, really, they're gonna be able to do this? The second you animate something, I care less about the little details.
My fear with them animating is that they would try to go too big with it. I like the subtlety of this for the longest time where they're just like sailing around, they see another guy and they're like, can we trust him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
That's fair.
It gives me the apocalyptic feel, which I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of the being alone, but also kind of terrified of other survivors.
Yeah, I hear that.
But also the same thing of like, if they went anime with it, they might go too sea creature-y.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear that.
And I kind of like, but if they went practical, is there a practical anime? Is there one where they're just like, no, we're going to keep this one low key, you know?
Yeah. There's all types. I have to piss so bad.
Okay,
Let's just do an edit right here. I'm sorry. Stanley's like, the fuck?
Hey, at least that wasn't fucking dominated on your ass, boy. I could have spanked your little butt. Boom. Boom, chaka-laka, boom. Stanley doesn't want to watch the scenes, I guess.
Oh, this will be a perfect edit. You got the new thing up. All right, let's check out these scenes.
Not for sale. I just love everybody. Like every once in a while, somebody just takes a big swing.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that's here. Wait, can you pause it? I think stuff like that's important for side characters is to like, because this guy's in the movie for what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
If that.
This is his scene.
This is his scene. He's over and done with after this. So I think you need it. I think it's smarter in scenes like this to focus on more superficial elements.
Yeah.
So it is like make his hair look crazy, put the fucking thing on his finger. I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. Like
have him talk really weird because it creates. In the moment, I feel like it creates a deeper character than... Like, I guess if you really broke it down, you're like, we don't know much about him. But, like, he has these things about him that stand out that make you more interested in him.
There's so much more that they could have delved into, like, with this guy, with one of the drifters, or any of the drifters, really. Like, the drifter character has a lot of shit that you could get into. But, like... The fact that, like, I'm really interested in shit like this with movies where it comes down to, like, where they go, they say, like he's got a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Like, how are accents surviving and or how are, like words like retard or something like that. But then, whereas the floating community that's more peaceful is saying something like, where they're like, mutoid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like,
no,
but like the smokers have no, like I don't think they ever really bring up the fact of mutants or being afraid of them like.
If you think about it,
so like there is enough common knowledge, but also enough other shit. Like how is this stuff passing? Like how?
Well, no, it goes back to the thing you were saying before with like, okay, so this is on Earth, but what you said about that. So if this is on Earth, that implies that fish developed over like years of evolution,
right?
So
like at least decades. Let's just say at least decades. At least decades.
You know what I mean? But like probably longer. So then that begs the question: how are there like still Scottish accents? And so it adds a lot, a much higher level of intrigue in these characters.
Right. Like like there would be one thing that if they were like, if there's like a nuclear war and like 20 years ago and they're living under the ocean or under the sea, not under the sea, but under the city or something like that, underground. And, like, there's nostalgia, and they find an old Yankees hat or something, like, you know, like stuff like that. But there's guys making hats. There's a guy, he's got dreads. That could just be from, you know, being out on the ocean, I guess, for so long. But also, like, the fact that they're not dead. They're all, like, relatively, they just all have good tans. So, like, they're evolving, but...
Yeah.
But this is the funniest thing, is like he's offering him paper, right? Again, what value does this have? And this is something I've talked to Dom about a lot of times. Is the fact that like her book collection is probably one of the most valuable things because everything is going digital or to some, you know, to like Kindle or anything. This would be one of those things where you're like, paper. I love the smell of a good book. Special trade. Bam!
Shut up. If I'm going to let him rape you, I will. That is pretty funny to be like, that is pretty fucking funny to be like, you can't rape these women. And he's like, I have words scribbled on paper. And you're not going to
say that to my friend Webster's Dictionary, page 782.
Wait, can you go back to the paper?
Like
the actual, like when he holds it up flat. Yeah. What is it?
It's just, it looks like notebook paper, or again, like it could be like a part of an encyclopedia, or like, I don't know. And honestly, it's not legible. It could be even like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody's scribbled on it a little bit here. It
is pretty funny how quickly Kevin Costner.
How much money do you think that prop cost?
What'd you say?
That prop alone. Oh, jeez. How much do you think that one prop seems like cost?
Oh, I don't know.
It probably it has to be that like way more than it should is what I'm saying. Just pull out a page.
Huge
boom, boom,
potential.
Boom, cross out. This is probably copyright shit too. They probably had to like make it unlegible just in case. But this most likely, if they're at all smart, would have just been a magazine page. I've seen paper,
dude. The way he just 180s on like, oh yeah, you can rape them is so fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
You go, get out of here, bitch.
Hold on a minute. How many pieces of paper?
Forgot about this part.
Also, what is he chewing on? Is it fish again? Is this the after the fish
maybe.
part?
Yeah, maybe it's part
It's
of the.
like, look, I fed you, blubber bitch. The negotiating of the sexual assault of definitely a woman, but possibly a minor, is crazy to me.
Yeah.
and her saying, "Don't."
Like, I don't want. She's just in the background. Please stop.
Yeah, can you not? And he's
Please
like,
stop negotiating my rape.
I love that. At that point, this was like the crazy, the subtle subcontext to this, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. The depth of this negotiation is crazy to me, because at one point he truly does go, "Oh wait. I forgot. Is this his boat or your boat?" And I don't think he was doing it in a shitty way. He was just like, wait. I should be offering you the paper. I'm so sorry, ma'am. Can I give you these pieces of paper for your pussy? And hey, I got to tell you, some things don't change. Pussy always costs pieces of paper. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. They like money.
I like to do a little talking. Creepy, right? Very creepy. But
wait, does he like begrudgingly grab the paper?
Yeah.
Like, all right, have sex with that kid.
Yeah, and he's like, no, just the big one. So this was, so I had discussed about Jack Black being in this movie.
Yeah.
This was a Jack Black deleted scene in Waterworld. This
was 95, so he was probably in his like early 20s.
Yeah, I think so. This is the same time he's doing some pretty epic cameos in a lot of movies. He's in The Jackal for a small amount of time. I believe he's also in, what's the other one? What was the one I was just thinking of? God damn it. Mars Attacks, I think, is around 95 as well. Yeah. He's he's a little bit more. I think there is less of that cut. I don't know if this is just let's see if we can tell why this would be cut.
Oh, yeah, he's literally like 25 in this. He's just has a guitar. I don't like to be on this boat.
Another eye bit. Another eye gag.
Oh, they love the eye gags.
They love the eye gags in this movie. You're right, though. This is really interesting. You said this about the leather earlier. I was thinking of all the normies on the floats and stuff like that. You're right. All the smokers have, but the smokers make sense to have leather because they're like, there's more contact.
I get it. If your inspiration is Mad Max and just pure like, you got
to have the leather guys.
It's post-apocalyptic, steampunk. These are the bad guys. I get the thought process, but then the second you bring in practicality of living on the water, you're like, oh yeah, what if we just wore this heavy material that takes forever to dry?
Yeah, but we're not going to spend a long time like underwater waiting on like jet skis or anything, are you? Like to where it's going to be even heavier on us?
I mean, I just think about like. Oh, you were sorry. I was just being like, Pat's having a serious conversation. Oh shit!
So the pilot survives.
No shit. So is he in the actual movie, or is it just implied he was flying the plane?
You'll see in my next favorite scene, and probably my favorite.
Yeah.
The part that he's actually in. Oh yeah, those shots. See those shots.
That's a cool shot.
They're still fucking sick, and they still rule. So this is my favorite. This is just entitled, obviously, Waterworld, double ellipses, slap. This is the scene also with that still is in the movie starring Jack Black. He's in there. There he is.
I forgot about that.
That's in the movie.
There was so much little shit in the movie
He
that
like
you're like,
backhands her in the water. He he just throws her in the water at one point.
dude, there was one part where I think they were taking stuff off the guy's boat that after he killed the guy who was like, can I rape him for some paper? After they killed that guy, he was like, the second they go, they're not in a hurry to do anything.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what's on this boat?
Yeah.
And then the little kid grabs something and he was like,
Mine.
Dude, he takes it. He goes, you don't know how to fish. Why would you need this?
Oh yeah.
You're like, dude,
He throws it off the boat, and you're like,
Yeah.
literally, we could just attach those parts. And
I could have learned.
yeah, that's okay. No, that's the part where
That's when he grumpily starts. That's when he's like, I'll just kill a giant fish.
Damn it!
No, look, dude, it reminds me of like I had a manager at a job who was like he was like a useless guy, but he knew a bunch of things everyone else didn't know.
Yeah.
And he would actively avoid trying to teach people shit. I think that just seems like a guy who's just like, no, don't learn things so you realize I'm not that special. You're like, dude, we can learn to fish, you fucking psycho. Wait,
But that's his general. That's
the
his general.
line read on it is so. Wait, just back it up to right after what he says after the slap.
What are you thinking
What are
about?
you thinking about? Like, what would that do?
Because yeah, literally. Well,
What would the wave do?
his hatred of this child was very, very believable.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you know how like a lot of times you're like, oh, the curmudgeon or something like that. He's like, I'm gonna save the woman and her kid. By the way, this is not her kid. It's Helen and Enola. They're not.
Yeah.
She just is helping this girl. This
Yeah.
young girl. Like, not a mom. So like, she's still got a toy buddy, but the guy is not at all interested. But that kind of makes sense because again, he could have a mutated penis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be webbed balls or
Dude,
something.
that's
But
why-
his hatred of the kid is so much more believable because, and a lot of times they're like, hey, don't you ever shut up? This girl literally did not ever shut up. And his complaint was the whole time, you fucking talk too much. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then if she didn't shut up or she was too polite or did things that didn't make sense, he had no patience for it. And that would make sense because he's like, hey, we're trying to survive. Mm-hmm. How did you even learn manners? Because, like, again, you're the youngest version of a human in this world right now.
Yeah.
How do you, like, you should have only learned, keep your head down. Don't fucking look at smoke. Don't look at anybody with a gas-powered thing because they're a fucking smoker, stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you hear, run. Like, that's it. So her going like is super retarded, and his reaction is so. I want to know how many takes this was. Because,
I love.
what are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about?
Here it is.
Wait, go back. It's such a good slap too, because like obviously, dude. Because obviously it's sound effects.
I don't know, man.
But no, that's
Oh, they're on the ocean. You're right.
But no, it's a movie too. Like in any of those scenes, you're not gonna get like that type of oomph to the sound.
Yeah.
But it like you forget it's sound effects because you're like, it looks like he fucking hit the kid. What are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about?
What are you thinking about?
So that was Waterworld.
That was great.
I would give it. How many dirts do you want to give it? Out of 5. How
many piles of dirt?
How many piles of dirt would you give it?
I would give it. I would give it.
Go ahead. I think it's gonna be higher than yours. I don't know.
I don't know. Just on the sheer fact of like it made no sense. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give them a couple piles on pure effort because the fact that they finished the movie gets at least 2 piles of dirt.
Okay.
At least.
You're right. Yeah, the fact that they got a wrap on this and they did technically tell a complete story.
Like if I gave them 1 or 2 piles, I'd feel bad because like everyone on the crew almost died. But
or wanted to die.
I was genuinely like. I was having fun nitpicking it, and then by the halfway point, I was genuinely checked out. So I got to give it 3 piles of dirt.
I got to give you a solid 4, maybe 4.5 piles of dirt. I don't know how much hydro that gets, but I'll tell you what. This movie, I think, and that is, I would give it 5 if it was the movie I wanted it to be. if it was all those things.
It was a better movie.
I'm
oh,
well,
really?
no. I'm giving I'm giving it on what I am, because a lot of times art is subjective, and a lot of times it's about what you perceive of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So like, this is how I take the movie. This is like how I.
Why is that so sexual to me?
Well, look, it's or no. This is my take on the movie. Let me just say it like that.
This is how I let the movie take me.
Well, there's like the big fish thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving them that.
Yeah, and I think that's
I
think that's an important thing about some movies.
Yeah.
It's like the big rule of like wrestling, where like there's this great clip where in AEW where Jeff Hardy or not Jeff Hardy, what's his brother's name? Matt Hardy is getting like fucked up, and then they use that. I'm getting this not perfectly right, but I think they use that to. Oh, no. Jeff Hardy was in the company. Jeff Hardy comes out and saves him. No. They use it to debut Jeff Hardy. He comes out, so Jeff Hardy's running out, debuting on AEW, going to save Matt Hardy. His music hits, and his brother's getting fucked up. Jeff Hardy runs out, goes to the crowd real quick.
He does this.
And then he gets his fucking thing in, and then goes and saves his brother.
Yeah. He does his pyro, and then he goes.
Yeah. He does this little. And everyone's like, "That's retarded," and you're like, "It's wrestling."
I know, but if he had just run out and like,
that's not the best example.
No. But if somebody, that is because you're like, you want it to be wrestling.
Yeah,
I would be watching that, wanting the genuine reaction.
But I think
if you said like, "Hey, how come you do his fucking pyro?" I would be like, well, bro, his brother's getting attacked.
Or
you have to.
A better example is in wrestling. Why do they punch with their forearms and not their hands?
He's got to get this. He's got to get this spot down before the pills kick in.
Yeah. Before he fucking seems narcoleptic and just falls asleep. No, but a better example in wrestling is like, well, why do they punch with their forearms?
Yeah.
Well, because it has to be illegal to punch with your fist because you can't fake that as easy.
Yeah, and it would hurt them.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to just do this all day and fake it. So they do forearm punches because. Right. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's certain times you just give them more. Yeah.
I say all that to say it is very important on certain occasions to just kind of go with it on certain things.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless it's leather at sea.
And I'll just say 4 piles of dirt. 4 piles of dirt. It would be 5 if it was better.
Yeah. I would give it 4 tomato plants, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Piles of dirt, 3.
Yeah, because tomato plant, you just throw that on the boat.
It's just like it's a mace.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. We haven't picked another one, so.
I have a suggestion.
Hit at me with it.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Apocalypse Now is a movie that I don't think I've seen. First of all. Second of all, I've heard nightmare. There is, I believe, a documentary about how horrific the production was.
Yeah.
So not only do we get to watch the movie, but we get to watch
doing movies, like when we shot that sketch the other day, I go, if this is what movies and television was, sign me up.
Yeah. When
I see all the other shit where I watched that I watched a YouTube video talking about like the modern day Mad Max, not Furiosa, the one before that with Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
The production of Mad Max, and I go, I mean, they must love being celebrities because none of that seems fun.
Yeah.
And like, dude, the reality of a lot of acting, it's not this like, oh, I'm going to do this Shakespearean fucking monologue. It's like, hey, you're going to do this thing for 5 seconds and we're going to shoot it 20 times.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of like standing out in shitty conditions.
It's a lot of post.
In your stupid outfit and shit.
Yeah,
it was the same way with our sketch. Like, it was like the sketch we did was fun and there was a lot of funny moments, but the real, the other half of that is in the editing process.
Right.
That's where I thought was able to like really come together.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the thing is like that's it. But I think the art of it comes into and this is the initial whatever estimation for how long this was supposed to take was very ambitious. 90 some odd days was, I think 96 days was what was planned, but it ended up being 157 days because of all of the other unforeseen things.
Yeah.
When you have a production, if we had gotten together and then started thinking about what we wanted to do that day, it would have taken so much longer. But the fact that we got together beforehand.
You guys, and Lemaire told me you guys did shit before we met. You game planned it.
Yeah, we wrote down beats that we wanted to do. We got our shots and figured out what else we would need to do for yours. Like, essentially, is you just kind of, again, that's the pre-pro. Like, the pre-production and post-production is really where movie making and I think most shows and stuff are made.
Yeah.
In the actual acting and shit like that, actors are fucking phonies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can watch them take a big swing like this, like the paper guy, and you can go, yeah, he's having a good time.
Dude,
or you can watch Kevin Costner, or what is it? Who's the other one? The other big swing. Like Kevin, what's his name? Nick Cage.
Yeah. I think
big swing. People love Nick Cage's big swings, but a lot of times you watch them and you're like, damn, that's crazy.
I mean, dude, that's why that one episode of Community is so brilliant. There's a one episode of Community where there's a class at school where it's basically, is Nick Cage a good actor or not? And when you watch it, you're like, if you really sat down and go like,
he's probably the best actor,
but also he kind of fucking sucks ass.
But if you're as far as performance wise, I don't love everything he does. Like that's the thing. He is a great actor because he's not afraid to look like a complete fucking retard.
Like he is a great,
Kevin Costner in this movie.
He is a great actor, but what's the famous shitty performance he had where he's like the bees? But then also too,
Wicker Man.
But here's the thing, though. You also got to remember, like, the director or the writer or the executive producer could just get you to say dumb shit.
Yeah. Well, no, that could have been take 37.
Yeah.
And he could have been like, can you just give it to me a little bit? And he's just like, I've given you every emotion I could imagine when I get attacked by bees. And maybe they're like, the editor was like, fuck you, bitch. I'll put you in.
That's a good point. He could have had like 50 good bees takes.
It's really, if you think about it.
The 51st one, they chose to do the stupid one.
Exactly. And that's the thing is like Nick Cage is going to give you that stupid one. And I think that's what people are appreciating now with him is the fact that they're like, oh, he's a whack job. He will literally do anything you tell him to do.
Yeah.
Or he will do whatever he thinks that actor is. Like, did you see Longlegs? That's another one that was a little crazy too. So, but this series that we're doing for No More Heroes is focused more on troubled productions as well as, but for infamous movies.
Wait, this series? Are you talking about movie month?
Yes.
Okay. I'm having fun. I might need to branch out on my own and make it movie year.
Also, by the way, a missed opportunity for them not to land on this island that they finally find at the end, and all just dip their hands in the dirt and go, "We're rich."
Well, that's
none of them had that like foresight. All of them were just like, "Oh, well, no, we're idiots."
That's another thing. That's another thing I realized after watching. Have you watched the show Silo?
Yeah,
it's on Apple Plus. I like season 1 a lot. Season 2 is kind of slow.
Yeah,
but they're really good at. This is how like that Silo's on Earth, but it's like way later, post-apocalyptic, and it's a good. They do it in a great way of like, yes, this is how you would act if you only saw pictures of sunlight on a computer screen
right.
and never actually experienced it. Like, if you were talking about shit like that, like how you would refer to it. They do a really good job at that. I thought the way like you just said, like you just said that they'd be like, oh, the streets were paved in gold out there.
Yeah, like we own the fucking world now. Like if you are the only humans on that,
you'd be like, we're so rich.
There's so much more that can be told. There could be WaterWorld 1, 2, 3, like episode 4, whatever. I mean,
yo, if we're doing catastrophe. Oh wait, are you doing on-set tragedies?
No, not even just necessarily.
Because you know tragedies. What we could watch?
The Crow.
We could watch The Crow. There's a new Crow too.
So many new burps that just happened.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever done those burps before. Stop eating my headphones.
And Bat, you're debuting a lot of burps for the people.
Yeah.
No, because I just remembered there's a new one coming out. We don't have to watch the new one, but Final Destination.
Oh, really? Was there trouble on the set?
Well, there was No, it's the whole movie's about getting fucking murked.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about seeing. Gruesome shit.
Yeah.
Hey, this might be. This could be a Patreon idea. You know what I mean? If maybe we do continue doing.
Wow,
movies.
what a polite way to say no.
I don't want to watch Final Destination. Well, unless there
You
was.
don't want to watch Final Destination?
But if there was issues with the that's what I was talking about. There's actual people that have died on movie sets before.
Yeah.
That I want to focus on those idiots.
All right.
Not even the Alec Baldwin.
Figure out what works better for your autism.
All right.
Anyway, last episode, No More Heroes. This has been a good run. No, there's
It
a
was
new
movie month.
There's a fucking. Guess it's whatever Pat wants.
I mean, we can watch Final Destination, but
Yeah, you sound excited about it, so that makes me want to watch it.
I just don't want to do content about it.
Yeah, no, you're finding ways to.
No, Andy. I hate you and your ideas.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to hear. Don't dance around the no. Just say it. Jesus Christ. Also, we should wrap this up. I just want to talk about movies now. Thanks for watching.